how to make more money performing, how to make any money performing. I get it. This is often the holy grail for performers. If I could only make more money performing, I would be happy. If I could only make my living as a performer performing, I would be happy. Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, usually on this channel, I'm talking about income diversification because performing on its own is usually not, you're just leaving money on the table if you focus just on performing. But that doesn't mean that there aren't ways to actually make a whole lot money actually performing. And today we are going to cover one very specific way of doing that. Hi, I'm Fiona, and I help performing artists just like you to build their business, brand, and bank account without the overwhelm or frustration. Now, something that you may not know about me is that I have actually been a gigging performing artist for decades. I used to do this full time, and at that time, I made as much as $1,000 per performance. So I do know something about making money actually performing. Now, here's the thing. There are a lot of ways that you can increase your income by performing. For example, you could become a singing telegram deliverer, right? That person that goes around and wishes people, for example, happy birthday via singing telegram or harpsichord playing telegram. That's thinking outside the box, right? That's being entrepreneurial. You can also put on concerts. You can be a wedding performer. There are so many ways. But today, we're going to get deep into one very specific way that was really helpful and lucrative to me. And specifically, what we're going to work on today is house concerts. This is when you literally go to somebody's house and you put on a concert. Now, I know I'm using the phrase house concert, but it really could be any kind of performance event at a house. You could be a magician showing up and doing your act. You could be, for sure, a musician with a band, but you could also put on a dance recital. You could do just about any kind of performance act. You could even show up and lead an improv with the guests. You and the host could plan it, giving everybody roles like in a murder mystery. This is pretty fun, right? These are all thinking outside the box. This is what I really encourage you to do as a multi-passionate entrepreneurial performing artist. So I will be using this phrase house concerts loosely to cover any kind of performance act that you could do in somebody's home. Now remember, we're not talking about becoming famous. We are literally talking about making more money. Because a lot of the time when you hear something like do house concerts, you come up with a whole bunch of objections like, oh, that's cheesy, or oh, I would feel awkward singing in somebody's home, like what, there's no stage, things like that, right? Well, you gotta get your ego out of the way because the question is, how can you make more money performing? Not how do I become rich and famous? Although you could in fact become rich doing this. And in terms of fame, well, you never know who might be in the audience, especially here in Los Angeles. You do a performance like this at the right house with the right guests, and who knows what could happen. It's sure better than performing for free for the exposure, right? So let's dive in and cover 3 very important questions to get these house concerts generating you income. What's a house concert? Why should you do them? And most importantly, how do you book them, right? So the first one, what's a house concert? I basically already covered, right? A house concert is any kind of event performance that you do at somebody's house. Now, you may be thinking that you have to have rich friends in order to do this, but that's not the case, right? Anybody who is celebrating something special could very well want to bring in an entertainer to mark that special day. So as an opera singer, I was often called in to celebrate somebody's anniversary or birthday with their favorite operatic arias. So if the couple just loved opera, they might bring me in. Or if the husband knew that the wife or the partner knew that the other partner just loved opera, they might bring me in as a special anniversary gift or as a birthday gift to sing those favorite arias. So it absolutely can be in somebody's small home that you do this. I have done these kinds of performances in the smallest of homes up to huge mansions. Now, it's amazing if you can get into a house concert series. There are some more well-to-do people with large homes who have house concert series where they bring their friends in with valet parking and all the rest, and they do this on like a monthly or weekly basis. And so that's great. But that's not the only way that this gets done, okay? So what's a house concert? You come in, you do your performance in someone's home. Now, why should you do house concerts? Well, obviously, we're talking about making money. This is a great way to make more money. You'll typically get paid whatever you've contracted with the host to begin with, but you'll also often get tips, which is fantastic. And sometimes you can also negotiate with the host that they have a donation hat that goes around. So you could contract a gig for $500 and then make $100 extra in tip from the host, and then make another $300 from tips from the guest or donations from the guest. So now we've turned a $500 gig into an $800 gig. You can also negotiate with a host, if it's somebody who's very budget conscious, that they cover your minimum, let's say $200, and then they do the announcing of the donation basket for you and collect the money for you. And okay, great, now you've hit $500. Now, another reason that house concerts can be so useful is that they're a great place to practice your act. So if you have auditions coming up, you can always include your audition rep in the concert. If you're a stand-up comic, you can try out new material. It's a great place to practice your act. And this was one of my favorite uses of the house concerts. Now, I love to connect more closely with my audience, but on top of that, I loved practicing my audition material in a live setting with live audience. How cool is that? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. And have you ever done a house concert? Let me know that in the comments as well. Okay, now before we dive into how to actually book these gigs, let's deal with a couple mindset things. So I already covered this thing about, oh, it might be cheesy, or you don't want to be foreground or you don't want to be background. Well, these are all things that can get negotiated with your host in advance. If you want to be a foreground performer, then let the host know they need to have chairs set up and they need to create a space so it feels like a real concert. Now, if you prefer for people to be up and dancing, then you need to let the host know that. These are all things that can, in fact, get discussed and planned in advance. Now, another mindset thing that may be coming up for you is like, oh, it just feels too hard. Well, I hate to break it to you, but sometimes things can be hard to get started. We're talking about being entrepreneurial performing artists, not performing artists who get handed our big break on a silver platter, because who does that actually happen for? This is an opportunity for you to build a business, make more money, and actually grow your fan base. Because can you imagine the intimacy and the feeling of connection that happens when people actually get to experience your performing up close and personal? These are people that can become your raving fans. Okay, 4 simple strategies for booking the gigs. Number 1, it's so simple. You just need to talk about these gigs with your friends and family. You need to tell your friends and family that, in fact, you do offer house concerts, and would they hire you, right? Especially when you're first starting out, you can actually offer these to friends and family at a low cost or donation only basis in order to get that momentum building and in order to spread the word that this is something that you do. So you start with your friends and family, whether they bring you in to do a house concert or whether they talk about it and mention it to their own friends and family. So you do have to get out of your comfort zone and actually tell people what it is that you do and not worry about whether or not they say no. Who cares? Move on to the next person. On top of talking to your friends and family, you're also going to talk about it everywhere else. So you're going to talk about it on your Patreon. You're going to talk about it at any other gig that you might do. So just like you might be doing a gig and promoting your merch table at the back of the room, you can also be promoting your house concerts. And if you are also a teacher or a coach, you can promote that too. Next up, add a page to your website. It's really not that hard. If you have a website, then just create a page saying, this is what I do. I offer house concerts. This is the details about them. I'm actually going to go ahead and link in the description below the website of one of our profitable performers. You can see what I'm talking about here. Kayla has got a great webpage devoted to house concerts. And just use this as an example for yourself about what's possible. And now, of course, you've definitely got to promote them on your social media, everywhere on social media, okay? And you can even run specials and do bonus offers on your social media. Like you could say, this week only, I'm offering house concerts for $100 off. Or this week only, I'm out offering house concerts and every one of your guests gets my new album for free. Fun, right? And then finally, of course, when you're first getting started, you can put them on the gig sites. And the great thing about using those gig sites like Gig Salad and what used to be Gig Masters, but I think there's a new name, I'll link those in the description as well, is that once you book a house concert, you can use that to book the next one. Of course, you want to approach this respectfully and ask the host for permission to announce that you offer house concerts or ask them to do it for you. But very often, the host is so excited to have you there, they want to support you. Bonus time, making more money performing. You can actually use these house concerts to make even more money on top of your fee, tips, and donations, okay? You can sell your merch. You can sell the t-shirts, you can sell the albums, you can even create packages for hosts to choose between, right? It could be the straight up house concert version, or it could be the house concert version where they, the host, get your t-shirt and album, or they get to give your merch, t-shirts, and albums to all of their guests as the party favor. How cool is that? You're making it so much easier for that host to throw a phenomenal party. Everyone's gonna remember this was the party where there was a house concert and we got the free gift. And now you got new fans. You can also sign people up to your email list, again, with the host's permission, or have the host do it for you. And you can sell your house concerts. So at the house concert, on your merch table, you can sell more house concerts with a flyer for your house concerts, or a business card that has the link to the webpage about your house concerts. And then if you do add people to your email list, you can segment those people and send them an email the next day welcoming them to your list and inviting them to get their own house concert. Do you see how easy this is? But also how the hard part is with your mindset. The hard part is doing new things. The hard part is thinking outside of the box. But the hard part isn't actually the doing of it. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments. Was this video helpful? If so, I would love to connect with you on social media. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel here, and definitely join my free Facebook group. I made it especially for entrepreneurial performing artists just like you. Okay, if you watched this far, then I'm pretty sure you're interested in making more money performing, right? And I have got a great video for you that I made at the very beginning of this channel. You'll notice some difference in the way in which I deliver my content, but the content itself is just as applicable today as it was then. So I definitely encourage you to watch this video next, all about 3 different ways of making more money performing. Now, you have a voice, you deserve to be heard, and the world deserves to hear you.